Hey, welcome back. It's your favorite friends at
The Girls Next Pour.
A podcast about being a creative in your 30s as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
While not losing your mind.
Yeah. I'm Vanessa, and this is Mimi.
Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day.
Great day! I just came out of meetings, so, I'm having a great day now that we're on here. That we're creating.
I just got therapy. Yeah, I'm just ready.
Should we talk about that? Should we unpack that?
I think the unpacking was done. I think boundaries, that's the key word takeaway from today's boundaries from therapy. You gotta have them. Yeah, people pleaser over here. Boundaries, big one. All right, Vanessa, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about authenticity as a creative. What does that even mean? Because I feel like we go to so many events or things where it's for creatives, or you see online, be your authentic self, show up authentically you. Okay, what does that mean? How do I get there? Because I don't know what does that mean? What does that look like? So we're talking about that today. And I'm sure you as a creative have seen that millions of times and have been like, but what does it mean to show up authentically me, to be fully me and who I embody?
Takes a lot of time. I think that's part of the equation today is patience in finding that, because if someone says just be authentic, unless you've been doing that work for some time, being aware of who you are, like that's a big thing too, is like self-awareness of just like, who am I? What are my quirks? What do I like? What do I not like? But especially as a creative, authenticity is what sets you apart from everybody else. And what makes you unique New York.
Yeah.
And
unique.
Red leather, yellow leather. Okay, sorry, I just got done helping kids do theater. We do tongue twisters. That's something unique about me. That's authentic about me, is I am basically a child, and I'm very playful, and I'm very light in terms of like how I show up with people and children, and education is a part of my identity, whether I like it or not. I used to be a high school teacher, right? I think identity is really hard, Vanessa, when it comes to creativity, because we're taught to basically be our jobs.
Yes.
And so if we're taught that art and creativity is not a job, then how can you identify as such?
And not important, right? And I think this alludes to each of us need to give a little bit background, because I think that the times that I felt the most, this is why child work is necessary, because a lot of times we think that, or the childlike behavior that we had and when we were a child in our happiest moments is our truest form of self. And so when people talk about therapy and getting back to that, you do that therapy on your inner child, it's because that inner child needs to come alive again after it's been destroyed by the world. And so that way she can come alive. And poor thing. You get told, I mean, from the earliest of earlies, I just remember I loved singing. I used to be a singer and I like act. And I remember I would keep trying out for the worship team at my church, but there was one girl who just doesn't want anybody else on the worship team, so she basically gatekept it. Yeah. We hate her. Anyway, and so it's like now I'm in a 34 and coming back to what are those things that truly bring me alive? And part of that inner work is remembering, is actually exploring and getting back into that re-exploration phase that as an adult is almost like shunned upon. Like,
oh yeah,
as an adult, you're told get your job, whatever, and then anything else is a hobby, right? But you want to be an actress? Oh no, that's a hobby. Oh, you want to be a comedian? Oh, girl, no. You want an author? No, that's a side gig. That's all side stuff that you can only do that whenever. And we've been bombarded with all of these lies, and so I think when you're in your adult years as a creative, you have to unlearn all of these lies. all of these lies that money only comes from, doing a boring ass job every freaking day of your life. No. Money comes through my creativity. Money comes through me, right? It comes through me, right? We get paid to be ourselves. That's what we have to tell ourselves. No, I get paid to be myself. And my journey of finding myself, and I'm still finding it, because many of you might have grown up religious. If you didn't grow up religious, you probably had parents. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But the people that have shaped you, they are a huge part of your life. And then when you're an adult, it is your responsibility, though, to unlearn the unhealthy things, right? And to start to tap into what are those things that when you do them, you feel a sense of freedom, regardless of what's going on in the state of the world. You do that and you feel like nothing else matters. This is the moment. This is me. This is who I'm in this moment. And everything else feels carefree. And I feel like that is when you've tapped into your authentic self. Personally, that's my definition.
Yeah, and you want to talk about, speaking of childhood, like there's this memory that's popping up for me right now that I just have to share. And I think it speaks to this whole conversation. I was like a creative kid, and I liked to build things and think things and be imaginative. I did not have an imaginary friend. Won't go that far. But I did like to create worlds in my head and objects. And I was very like hands-on with like what I played with and like things that I did. And I was in my grandparents' backyard, and they had this wheelbarrow, I guess. Like they had, stuff in their backyard, wheelbarrow. And I started like putting things around that I found on the wheelbarrow, like a hanger and a twig and a this. And I made this contraption. I made it into a device. And I was like, this is like, I can't remember what I thought of in my head, but I was like, this wheelbarrow is now a this. I was like, it's now a time machine, or it's got all these features, and I had like all these features I had made, and I had like taped things onto it, and I was like, and I wanted to show it off. I wanted to show it to my sister. I wanted to show it to my family, and I was like, look at how cool this is. My sister shot me down. She was like, that's not cool.
Ooh.
I don't like, no, shut up.
The rejection.
And it made me feel like I was dumb for playing make-believe. Or that I wanted to showcase this, and I was immediately made to feel like shameful,
shut down.
And that just speaks to everything I've been through as an artist, like wanting to like, hey, I'm gonna like do this big thing, and someone's like, what are you talking about? Like, what? No. And so you get that judgment from all kinds of places. You get it in looks. You don't even have to say it. Doesn't even have to be said half the time, just being in a room with people who don't take you seriously. People who don't get you, people who don't think you're cool, people who don't play make-believe, people who take themselves too seriously. And so when I think of like childhood me and reconnecting with her, it's about play. It's about creating and making and dreaming and thinking and writing and building. I like to build and like make stuff with my hands. And so like we did this activity. We went to this women's retreat a few months ago. And the question came up. It was part of a kind of exercise, and it was like, who were you before the world
destroyed you
and brought you to your senses, right? It made you grow up. Who were you? And it was a writing activity, but I actually decided to make a cootie catcher. And I put like, because I was like, child me would have taken this piece of paper I was given, and I would have made something with it. And so I folded it up, and I made the little cootie catcher like we made when we were kids. So you fold it up, and then you can like move it with your hands. And I put colors on the outside, and I was like grabbing the pencils, and I was like, hey. And then I was like, on the inside is going to be the game MASH. I remember as a kid playing MASH. You remember that one? And so I was like, okay, hey, give me a name of a celebrity. It's like, okay, Jack Black. So I put, okay, you're gonna marry Jack Black. Okay, who else? You're gonna marry, you know,
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. And so I was going around to the women as they're doing this activity, and I was like asking them questions, and then I had them play the game with me because it was about playing, and I was like, that was so fun for me to just let myself do that and not be like, that's dumb. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Or like judging myself, because half the time you judge yourself because it's internalized, you know? So is there anything from your childhood that's popping up for you that you would like to reconnect to now as an adult?
Yeah, well, I want to go off of that because I remember this retreat. And this is a testament to everybody's brain is so different. And I wish that we were able to tap back into that child play, because we went around and shared all of our papers, and mine just had like mermaids and colorful, and it was just all, it was like my shirt, honestly. Honestly, it was like my shirt. Okay, these are my favorite colors all in one. And honestly, it was just so freeing to go back to that and think, oh, this is so fun. But yeah, I remember a few things, because I remember I loved doing theater. So I did theater in a lot of middle school and high school. And then I remember, the biggest thing that I remember is just trying to get on the worship team so many times, and being like, oh, I'm not going to get on because I'm not like, I'm not allowed, or my dreams being shut down in some sort of way in that realm. And so for me, tapping into, and I remember I always used to love color, and I had this binder and it was filled with almost like so many Lisa Frank. Y'all remember Lisa Frank?
Oh yeah.
OG girl. I don't remember how their company went down, but I'm sorry for them, but I think some bad things happened. So bad things shouldn't happen. Anyway, so, all these Lisa Frank, I remember all of my, just whatever crazy chaotic was in my mind was put onto this paper. I mean, I had things for like cool houses, and then I had cute like magazines, because I would make magazines of women that I never saw in a magazine. I would make fun makeup, and I would make these I would also do like these just like collages of fun little just things that I wish that the world was in real life, which was fascinating to me. And now that I'm talking about this, I think something's popping in my head here. I think I've always wanted to see what it's like to live in a different world that didn't have the chaos and craziness of this current world. And I think that's why, like, right now I'm kind of in the process of writing a fiction novel, and it's about like everything fantasy you could think of is thrown into this book, okay? Because I am like, there has to be more. And I think too, when I realized Santa wasn't real, I was like, this world sucks. Sorry, spoiler. Oh my god, sorry. If you have kids, oh, I'm so sorry.
Nah. None of you got kids on this podcast.
Yeah, they're too busy creating. No, but I remember thinking, well, Santa isn't real, and almost like the magic of what I thought the world could be was just, oh, that's that. The world sucks. And adults, what they have to do sucks, you know, because they don't get to imagine, they don't get to dream, they don't get to put their ideas out into the real world. Yeah, I don't even know if I answered the question, but I said my piece.
Yeah. Oh, did you? You know what? You creating things reminded me. When I was a kid, I used to cut up my doll's clothes to try to make like new clothes. And now this makes a lot of sense, because a career that I wanted, that I kind of had picked for myself along with acting, was actually fashion designer.
No way.
Yes. And so like this makes total sense. I would get in so much trouble. I had like American Doll girl, and I would like take her clothes and I would like cut them up, and I would like, I didn't know how to sew, and I didn't have like anything to sew with. I was just like cutting up their clothes and like making patterns and like, oh, let's change them into shorts, like instead of pants. And like my mom would get so mad, and I would cut up like other things like blankets and stuff. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, and so like it makes a lot of sense that I also wanted to be a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
And what kept me from being a fashion designer was this stupid little thing that I think was a comment that I brought it up, I think, to somebody, an adult. And they're like, so, but can you draw? Can you draw? You can't be a fashion designer if you can't draw. And I was like, oh, I can't draw. I can draw stick figures. Is that what you mean? Do I have to be able to draw? Like, I was thinking I can't be that doesn't even make any sense.
That does, yeah.
But like, I totally ruled it out. I totally took it off the table from a little comment that was like, well, you have to be able to draw. And I was like, and instead of thinking, oh, I could learn how to draw, which
you immediately eliminated
it. Took it off the table. And I think it's so easy to do that when you get those comments. It's like, yeah, oh, I guess it's not meant for me then.
Right.
Which just destroys children and their dreams when you probably don't think you're saying anything bad.
Yeah, but it's like their whole world shattered, and the possibility of a potential artist or potential creative, like, gone. And that actually is a very good point, because how many times have we as creatives been the ones that say no? It's not somebody else, but it's us. We're in the way of we are the ones rejecting us, I've done that plenty of times, from seeing just like things that I used to want to work with. Like, I remember a few years ago, I wanted to work for this hotel, and I walked in, and my friend from California was visiting, and I was like, I would love to work here, and she's like, well, why don't you? And I was like, I don't, they're just like so much more high end than me and stuff. And she was like, no, they're not. Like, you can do that. Right. And I remember as we're walking out or something, she's like, yeah, so she has a gig with you guys in a few months or so. And I was like, what? Why would you say that? And literally at like almost a year later, it came to fruition. And it's like, you need also people in your life who are going to speak that life into you and speak your dreams into you when you're not even seeing it, because sometimes it will come to fruition because of your friends, the people around you, because you have a good support system. And you have people in your circle who want to see you win and succeed. And that was profound for me, because I was like, I think I've been the reason for a lot of my dreams not coming true. Me. I can't even put that on somebody else. It was me, because I said, oh, I can't do this because I'm not this, or I can't do this because I'm not this. And it's like, well, yeah, you're right, because the world and our brains don't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. And so if we tell ourselves, oh yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. But if you say, oh no, I absolutely can, and I am doing that, I am embodying it. And that's why these affirmations are so important to tell yourself daily. Like, I am able to do this. I am a creative. I am this. I am whatever you want to be, because it's retraining your brain to give you that identity, to fall into place, to be the identity before it even happens to you.
And that is authenticity. Like, that is. So it's about the confidence to say, I am a writer. I am an influencer. And the people that are authentic, they believe these things about themselves. They don't shame themselves. They're not like hiding it in the closet. They're like, they're taking the space to say, I am this thing. And they don't care what you have to say about it.
They don't care
about your judgment. Or if you think that's fake, or if you think that's dumb, or you're never going to succeed. The authenticity comes from standing in it and being like, what are you going to do? Say it. Say it to my face.
Say it to my face.
And I do want to bring this up too, because I think when we think about our flaws, like we think about all the things that we do wrong or that make us not desirable, a lot of the times those things can be our strength. And something I know about me is I'm a big, sappy little crier. And I'm so sappy.
I love our emo girl. Oh, she's just a mosh, okay? She's just a little mosh, okay?
And for the longest time, I hated that about me, that I felt like I couldn't control my emotions, you know? But did you send this to me recently? Or maybe it was Liz. It was like, it was a friend of ours maybe, but it was like people that cry more, that are more seen as more sensitive, are actually better leaders. And they are better, their brains are actually catching sight of something before other people realize it. They're in tune. They can read the room, and they're reacting to subtle body language. And I was like, oh my god, my brain is huge. I'm such a big crier.
Your brain is beyond. Like, your brain is more advanced.
It's advanced. So like, I know this about me, that is something that I am very in tune with, and that makes me authentic, and that makes me who I am, right? And for the longest time, I didn't like that about myself. Right? Being clumsy. I'm the clumsiest girl I know. And I used to fight it. I used to fight it really hard and try to hide it. And when I would get on stages, I would break every microphone that ever presented itself to me, because I'm such a klutz. And I would trip over cords, and I would trip, and I would fall, and I've fallen off stages, and I've bruised my whole ass. And people love that about me. Like, it's not something to be afraid of anymore. It's just who I am. And it's just how I present in this world. And it's quirky, and it's different. And, you know, would I like to be less clumsy? Yeah, sure. Of course I would. I'd like to break less microphones on average. But, you know, like, I'll never forget, like, just showing up as myself online. And can you tell that story about in New York City, and you met somebody in a coffee shop?
Oh, which one?
She's like, what story? You told me that you were visiting. You were visiting New York. I think this was after. No, it might have been before. I don't know. You were there. You were in New York City. I don't know if you were living there or not. And you said to me, I just met this guy in a coffee shop, and we were just shooting the shit. We were just talking. And we were talking about how people are not authentic on social media. And how they just have this, like, different face, and they're just, you know, they're not themselves, and it's just, people are not real on social media. And then this stranger that you met at a coffee shop goes, yeah, but there's one person I really like on social media. And she's just such a hoot. And she's so weird, and she's quirky. She's got a brain injury. She's like a comedian or something.
And I was like, is this my friend? Wait, is her name Mimi Hayes? And he goes, yeah, you know her? And I was like, yeah, in fact, she's got a show. And it goes to show that when you truly tap into who you are, the people that need to find you will find you.
And you're not going to be for everybody. That's what I think I've had to accept, is that, like, I'm going to take up this space, and I'm going to be authentic, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. There are some people that cannot stand me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
And learning to know and love yourself enough through knowing that, you know, and because you don't love everybody, okay? Mm-hmm. You don't. I don't like a lot of people.
Most people.
Yeah. So, tight circle, you know.
Tight circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and so it's, you can't you can't be for the masses. I mean, I think it's the same in business. You're not going to be everyone's target market. And that is exactly okay, because we're not all made to be that way. And yeah, going back to, like, the authenticity online, it is fascinating, and it is difficult to be authentic online, because it takes a lot to get up, put your camera in front of your face, and speak to the camera like you would anything else.
In public sometimes too.
In public. It's a work in progress. I think every day we're practicing, and as, like, I don't know, I feel like artists, I would love to see, so as someone who's more on the influencer side, but not on the, I guess, creative side, from artists, I would love to see the behind the scenes of your work. I love, from the outside looking in, if you're like a painter or an actress or whatever it is, I love to see the behind the scenes of, what does it look like when you're scripting? What does it look like when you're setting up your painting? What does it look like? I love to see a process. And I eat that up because I think it's giving me the back end and the story behind the art that's being produced. Because even though you're producing stories in an art form, even there's a backstory before the story, you know? So I love seeing that backstory before the story. And so from an outside person looking in, if you are an artist or creative or something, my challenge to you this week would be to make a time-lapse video or something of you as you're entering or doing your creative process, whatever it is. Because I love those videos. I love it. I eat it up.
Yeah, being behind the curtain is really cool.
It's fascinating. And it opens up, I think it also inspires other people because you're showing people the possibilities of just so many different types of art and creativity that could be out there, you know? And I think that's why we like this, because me and Mimi, so one thing that I love about us is that we're both creatives on completely different spectrums. I'm creative on like the being on social media side. She's creative in like acting and in comedy and writing, and it's beautiful to see because I think whatever Mimi puts out, I'm like, it's gold. It's gold, you know? It's gold. It's gold. It's gold. It's gold. And you know, and she might think the same of me, but because we're not in those same spaces, and I think having that cross collaboration or cross knowing other artists and other vicinities is helpful for your own creativity, because we get stuck in our silos of I'm a creative in this and this is it and that's it. But creativity doesn't have rules. Creativity doesn't have boundaries. So like you can dabble over here, you can dabble over here, you can dabble back there. You know, you could be all over. And so I highly encourage, if you're one sort of creative, maybe attend like, I don't know, an event that's for a totally different type of creative than what you are.
Go take a welding class.
Yeah, or
go glass blow. Go be really bad at something, or or go see someone who's really good at something.
Yeah,
you know, go watch a photographer. You know, follow around a photographer for a day. You know, I want to touch on this before we get to the end of the episode. Kind of what can happen when you are not being authentic, like the cost of trying to be like everyone else, or trying to fit yourself in a box that clearly you don't fit in, right? Square peg, round hole, hole. I don't know. When you don't fit, okay?
It's got to be E.
Square peg. No, a round hole? I don't know what I'm saying. Okay,
I know what you mean, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, you just don't fit.
You don't fit, okay?
Square in a circle in a square, whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
when you don't fit. And I just want to talk about this time. We had like a come to Jesus moment, you and I. And we were living in New York City. We had snuck into another WeWork that day, as one does, for free. And there was a networking event. And
oh my God, yes.
I don't know where we were at in our life at that point, but you wanted to go to the networking event, and it was for young professionals.
It was like corporate
engineer. I don't know if it was based about engineering or if it was just corporate stuff.
Yeah, either way. I was like, I need a job.
But we needed work, and so, you know, we were gonna go to this networking event. And tell me how that went. How'd that go for us?
Oh my God. So we show up to the event and we like put on our name tags and everything. And I'm over here like, yeah, I'm an engineer. I'm, you know, I do my thing, blah, blah, blah. And Mimi's over here like, I'm a comedian and I'm an actress, not even caring about this at all, right? And we go through and we're meeting people, and I'm, you know, pretending to be someone I'm clearly not. Clearly pretending I'm to be someone I'm not. And Mimi is over here being her true self. She's like, yeah, I'm a comedian and I'm an author and I wrote this book and I'm doing, like, she was legitimately the epitome of herself. After that networking event, we sat down and I was just like drained because, but also I didn't get any work from that at all because they could tell, you know, I think you can't fake. You can't embody some thing you're not. You just simply cannot. And I think as creatives, we have to take our creativity seriously, because I remember at one of my old corporate jobs, there was this guy. He was so good at his job. He was passionate about this job. I was like, I do not care. The thing is, that man who is passionate about his job is always going to outbeat me. Always. Because that's his passion. You know, that person's passion and love for it is going to outweigh any amount of effort I could put into whatever it is that was. That's why as creatives, we have to go after what we want, because it's all, our livelihood honestly relies on it. There are so many people who didn't follow their dreams or who are stuck in a rut, and honestly, I think it causes health problems. It causes your health, it causes your mental health, it causes you to not be okay with life. It causes us to have those midlife crises because we're not going after the things that we want in life. And that night was eye-opening, because Mimi, you literally told me, you said, do you remember what you said?
I don't remember what I said.
You were like, girl,
did
that you did. She was like,
okay.
Vanessa, that wasn't you in there.
I think I remember.
You literally like that was not you. Like you were dead in there. You weren't yourself. You weren't anything that I know you to be. You literally looked like you hated every moment of that. Like, why on earth did you not be who you wanted to be? And back then, I feel like I was very much in people pleasing stage of, I have to be this, because it's a networking event. I can't talk about I don't even know what
influencing.
Or anything.
Brands, content, social media.
Yeah, and that would have been 10 times more exciting to discuss. But yeah,
I definitely could see you wrestling with, like, this is who I'm supposed to be versus how I see you, right? And I'm like, no, girl. And for me, my experience of that event was so different than yours, because I just could give a fuck. I was just like, these are not my people. Like, this is not my crowd. I'm just gonna have fun. I ate the snacks. I got free food. I was like, oh, candy. Like, I was just like, I was just not there in a space where I was trying to be anything, because I was like, this is a corporate thing. I don't fit in that box, so I'm not going to try. So I'm just going to be myself. And I was way more relaxed. And I was just like, it was just two very different experiences. I could see you struggling with that. And, it was really eye-opening, I think, for both of us to be like, we really don't fit in that box.
We don't fit in there.
Okay, and we shouldn't try, because it's bad. It's a bad box for us.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. It's not fun. Those people didn't look like they were having a good time.
No, nobody looked like they were having a good time. They were just had to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is exactly one of the prices you pay when you don't find out, like, what is authentically you. It deters you from the people that you're supposed to meet. It deters you from the opportunities. It deters you from everything that you could possibly want out of life when you're neglecting your true self. So.
So when we say, like, show up as your authentic self, what is one thing you're going to do this week to make sure that happens?
That's a wonderful question.
That's the only questions I ask.
That's very true. For me this week, I think I need to just get online again. And I feel like I've lost myself online, and I just need to get online and be like, hey, it's me. Welcome to the Vanessa land. I need to have more videos on me truly being me, embodying my essence and who I love me for. Yes.
You're very silly.
I am very silly, and I feel like you don't really see that.
I feel like that doesn't get to be seen as much. When I spend so much time with you, I get to see it. But yeah, I'd love a silly Vanessa video.
Yeah, okay. More silly Vanessa videos. That's mine. Okay. Yes. What is yours?
Me, I think I'm going to do what I do best, which is write. And I'm going to focus on my writing. The next week, I'm editing my book. And having this focus has been really good for me, while I'm still being anxious about all the other projects I'm not doing. But really being like, okay, writer Mimi is here. She's out. She's ready to play. And I have a lot of fun when I'm writing, and I feel at peace, and I feel like myself, and I feel like I'm at home on the page. And so the more I can be on the page and show up for myself in that way, the better. So
We love it. Thank you for watching and listening to Girls Next
Girls Next
Door.
Door. Bye-bye now.